One of the issues that's been a bone of contention from the reporting is the so-called sunset clause. And as you came out with it, as I understand it, there'll be a review every 6 years by the parties. Is that one of the more recent chapters that the Canadians have not had an opportunity to really assess?
Yes, it is a recent chapter. Originally, Ambassador Lighthizer had been requesting a 5-year sunset. Now, in effect, it's 6 years, and it's a little softer language than the original sunset language.
And so we don't have a signal yet from the Canadians whether they could be amenable to that approach.
Well, we don't know because we haven't had the sessions yet.
Let's talk about whether are there things that we need out of Canada that we didn't need out of Mexico, for example, with respect to dairy.
Well, the dairy management system in Canada has been very, very controversial with the president and with U.S. economists in general. In addition, Canada has not been particularly good on intellectual property rights, on thwarting the transshipment of counterfeit goods through Canada to the U.S. A number of provisions of that sort are things that we need from them.
As I understand, Mr. Secretary, in the agreement with Mexico, there are intellectual property provisions. Would those be sufficient from the United States point of view to take care of the problem with Canada if Canada were to agree to those?
Well, Canada has made a lot of trouble, particularly in the biologics, for U.S. companies and in pharmaceuticals as well. With Mexico, we now have a clear agreement that those patents will last for at least 10 years. So it's a very specific agreement on them.
So what we need from Canada on the biologics specifically is what Mexico has already agreed to.
Well, our hope is that they would agree to the same provision. We think it's an altogether reasonable one. Drug companies need a long period of time to overcome the initial cost of getting these things developed and approved. So you can't just cut them off quickly.